Andariki namaskaramulo, namo namaha, namassivaya. Today is 14th February 2023 and 15th day of our course of Sanatana Dharma. So far we have completed important topics, Vedas, Vedangas, Dharma Shastras, Upanishads and Darshanams. Now today we have one class on Vimana Shastra. Then going forward, we'll have Bhagavad Gita for next 3 days. Then we will start with Sanatana Dharma, Panchangam, Vastu, Puranas, Vedic mathematics. Then after that, Ramayanam, Mahabharatam, and some research topics on Sanatana Dharma. Like this, the syllabus is a good topics, very good topics are ahead. So let us start with Vande Mataram and Prarthana. After that, we will request Prabhu to start the webinar. I request everybody to stand up and sing, recite Vande Mataram along with Challa Chitti Babu Garu.
Vande Mataram, Vande Mataram, Sujalam Sufalam, Malaya Jasitalam, Sasya Syamalam Mataram, Vande Mataram. Subrajyosna pulakitayamini pullakusumita drumadala shobhini suhasini sumadhura bhashini sukhadam varadam mataram Vande Mataram Vande Mataram.
Vande Mataram. ధన్యవాదములండి Challa Chitti Babu Garu. Now let us request Satyaji to chant Prarthana, please.
Yes. Namaskaram. Let's do meditation for 1 minute. Let's close our eyes, sit straight, and focus on the class for the next hour and a half. Gananam tva ganapatigum havamahe kavim kavinamupavashramastamam jeshtarajam brahmanam brahmanaspata anasrunvannutibhis siddhasadhanam. Om Shri Mahaganathipataye Namaha. Om Prano Devi Saraswati Vajebhirvajinivati Dhinamavitryavatu. Om Shri Mahasaraswatyai Namaha. Gurureva Gati Gurumeva Bhaje Gurunaiva Sahasmi Namo Gurave न गुरोः परमं शशिरश्मि गुरोः मतिरस्मि गुरो मम पाहि गुरो ज्ञानानन्दमयं देवं निर्मलस्फटिकाकृतिम् आधारं सर्वविद्यानां हयग्रीवमुपास्महे श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पाद शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतो वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतं गमय ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः मातृदेवो भव पितृदेवो भव आचार्यदेवो भव अतिथिदेवो भव ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः गुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ
ధన్యవాదాలండి సత్య గారు. Let us request the Prabhu garu to start the webinar.
Prabhu garu, you have to unmute.
Friends, today we will be discussing a novel subject that is Vimana Shastra. It has a special importance to be studied on par with the great scriptures like Bhagavad Gita, Darshanas and Upanishads because of its impact on the history of science, contemporary technology, its implications on our understanding and perception of the scientific heritage of India and the understanding of the advancement in ancient times on science and technology. So before I start this, I have to ask two basic questions. First question is whether all science and technology originated in the West in the last 300 years. Because our textbooks are writing like that. All achievements, all discoveries, all inventions in physics, chemistry, mathematics, engineering are all ascribed to Britishers or nearby England or nearby England. The Eurocentric or Anglocentric view of the world. Is that true? That is the first question. Is it true or not? That is the first question. The second question is whether all the statements made in the Puranas or Mahabharata about, say, Vimanas or about Astras, about advanced high technology, is it true or false? So these two questions are related. So I'll try to answer these two questions in this lecture today. If you look at the first question, which is what is written in the textbooks, that until the Britishers came and gave us the knowledge of all subjects, all theorems of mathematics, all physics, all chemistry, all mechanical engineering, civil engineering, electrical engineering, there was no such thing in the whole world and not in India. This is the first question answered, try to be answered today. If you look at the evidences on the ground, you take the big temples like Tanjavur, Bahadishwaram, where there is a 1 ton, 1000 kg stone at the top of the Shikharam. Today it is not possible to lift it to such a height. It was never possible by any other means, by any in any other country. So how did it go there? These are the kind of questions. And today, if you take the pyramids in Egypt, nobody knows how they construct them. It is not possible to construct today even one pyramid. It's not possible. So how did they know it? There is no answer for this question, as there is no answer for the previous question. The Chola period, the 1000 ton, 1 ton or 1000 tons, I don't know exactly how big it is. That stone went up to the topmost height. Similarly, if you ask the question, how did Sushruta perform surgery 3000 BC? How is it that the surgical instruments being used today in modern hospitals are given in full description in the Sushruta Samhita? There is no answer for this. Similarly, if you ask, as Einstein said, how is it possible to develop science and technology without the decimal number system? There was no decimal number system for the Europeans or the Arabs. It was only from the Vedas. The decimal number system, 0 and place value of 0 is available. So like this, there are a number of questions which are not possible to be answered by normal textbooks, knowledge. Even our professors, doctorates, I am also a professor and director of research. Nobody can answer these questions. If any one of you can answer these questions, you can put in the chat box, because there are contradictions. Now, on the other side, if you look at the references in the Vedas, Puranas, there are descriptions of plastic surgery, head being removed and another head being kept, animal head or another, or nose cut, nose is rectified. So such descriptions are there. Hello? Can you hear me?
We are able to hear you. No, we are able to hear you. We are able to hear you. No problem at all.
Anyway, I have raised fundamental questions on the advancement of science and technology in the West vis-a-vis the claims or descriptions given in the Puranas. We know that, the descriptions in the Vedas and Puranas about the advanced medical practices, like we know the Chavana became young, and that is how the Chavana Prasha was discovered. And we have the descriptions, references of events, like in the wars, the surgeons of ancient India were able to join the hands and legs which are cut in the war, nose section, and even head. We know the story of many personalities whose heads have been replaced. And also we know many other things. We have read about Vimanas. There is a very interesting description given in the Ramayana before the Lanka description comes right in the beginning. Rama and Lakshmana are in the forest and they are going from one ashrama to the other. So they went to one Sharabhanga Rishi's ashrama. So Sharabhanga was waiting for Rama to come. And Indra came in a Vimana from Swarga and he was visible to Rama but not to Lakshmana. So Sharabhanga enters a big flame, fire, kundam, physically. And obviously his body becomes ashes. Then he comes out in the divine body. Divya Deham, Deva Deham. And then he goes to Swarga with Indra in his Vimana. Rama could see all this, but Lakshmana could not see. Of course, people like others, all ordinary human beings can never see. And we have many descriptions of the Yaksha, Kinnara, Kimpurusha, Gandharva coming in the Vimanas onto the earth and going out. Their interactions with humans, and even humans went to other lokas. Visradha went to Devasara some Yuddham in Vimana and comes back. Many such descriptions are there. Even Mahabharatam, Harivamsham, there is a description of attack on Dwarka by one king called Sarva. So he goes in a Vimana made up full of steel, and all the Yadavas they try to destroy it by throwing arrows and spears, but it is not affected because it is steel. Krishna was out of station. He came back, and after he came, he used his Sudarshan Chakra to cut the Vimana into pieces by flame. So Sudarshan Chakram gave flames which cut the all steel Vimana into pieces and destroyed. This description is there in Harivamsham. And we also know many other Vimanas being described in many other contexts. Pushpa Vimana in Ramayana. One of the proofs of the Pushpa Vimana travel is given in the description of the locations on Indian peninsula as visible from space. So when the journey happens from Lanka to Ayodhya, whatever was seen was correctly tallying as the aerial view, top aerial view. And also, it is described that the stars were visible in daytime. How is it possible? Because they went into space and came down. That way they could reduce the distance drastically. So many such, what do you call it, riddles, impossible things being described. We have seen reading since childhood. So I wanted to ask you a question which I asked in the beginning, whether they are all true or false. So it depends on the person. If the person is a believer, then he will say it is true. The person is a non-believer, like a communist or atheist or Muslim or Christian, he will say all that is bogus. That's what Britishers told, that is all bogus. Do they have evidence it is bogus? So if you say they are all false, do you have evidence that they are false? Because if you say they are true, do you have evidence that they are true? Because somebody has replied false. Do you have evidence that it is false? Yeah. No, those who were asked to believe they are false, do you have evidence that they are false? So these questions I was trying to answer for the last 50 years when I was a student in engineering. I came across one book called Vimana Shastra in the Nizam's State Central Library. Here it is. So this is published in 1959 by Arya Pratinidhi Sabha at Delhi. And I kept this book with me since then. And in this book, they have given some basis leads to answer that question, those two questions which I asked. So this book is describing that evidence which Anandrao mentioned, no more interactions. Let me explain what it is. So this book is published in 1959, and I came across in 1970s. Then I started studying it because I knew Sanskrit by then. I was a student in engineering in JNT College of Engineering last time. So I had a set of classmates, and both my own batch and my next batch, juniors, were very knowledgeable people. They were toppers and so on. I was also a topper. So we were sitting every day and lunchtime trying to understand, decipher something out of it. So this book has given around 13 electrical machines. No more discussions. Please listen to me carefully. For the next 40 minutes, you'll understand. You'll get the answers to this question at the end of this lecture. You give your answers at the end. Ask questions at that time. So now, in this book, they have given descriptions of 13 electrical machines, construction and operation. Vidyut yantra, Vidyut dvadashika yantra, Vidyut utpadaka yantra. I am from electronics and telecommunication background. So my students batch, we started trying to decipher those electrical machines. We have drawn diagrams, and I translated to English, and we were trying to interpret what it could be. So we found Vidyut yantra, which is similar to a DC motor. Then Vidyut utpadaka yantra, which is similar to a battery, not small battery, but big battery. Similar to it, not same. The descriptions are somewhat similar. They are not same. And Vidyut dvadashika yantra was a high voltage neutralizer. So like this, 13 electrical machines we interpreted from this book, Vimana Shastra. In 1972 to 76, 71 to 76 is my 5-year engineering course. I'm from the first batch of JNTU engineering course. Before that, it was Usmania University. I joined under Usmania University, but got degree as the first batch of JNTU in 1976. And I was awarded the Distinguished Alumnus Award by the Governor of Telangana State last year as the only one distinguished engineer of that batch. Of course, other batches, others were there. So now the point here is that these descriptions, they were not like Ramayana, Pushpa Vimana. Please note, all of you are getting carried away till now, till today, with Ramayana kind of or Bhagavatam or Harivamshan kind of descriptions. that this happened, that happened, this Vimana came, it flew. It's not like that in this book. This book is giving how to make it. How to make one yantra. For making that yantra, how to make those parts. And for making those parts, how to make the materials. So the whole story starts with the materials preparation. How to make this alana loham, so and so material, alloy or so and so ceramic, and then cut it in so and so dimension. Their own units are there, not our units. And then to make that, how to bring the raw materials, minerals, which mineral from where, what are, how does it look, and then how to mix in what proportion, ratio by weight, in what kind of crucible, in what kind of furnace, their own, everything their own. We don't have those furnaces today, we don't have those crucibles today, but we have the same minerals today. Please note this, like iron ore or copper ore or zinc or gold, whatever. We have those metals, we have those minerals. We don't have their crucibles, we don't have their furnaces. So the story begins with the materials. So material evidence or concrete. So I went about trying to make, but not at that time. I'll continue my story, real story of my life in this context. So all this I did the theoretical decipherment of 13 electrical machines when I was in JNTU, first batch 1976, BTech Electronics and Communication. Then I shifted to Bombay IIT. I joined there for doing MTech in electrical engineering department, computer science specialization, but I was witnessing a research experimental process going on in IIT Bombay. On the same text, they try to produce one material out of some 200 materials given here. They produced one chumbak mani by using around 20 input ingredients. It's a mixture, compound mixture. And after they produced, they did characterization and testing in TIFR, Tata Institute of Fundamental Research, and IIT Bombay itself and BRC. Then they confirmed it is a soft ferrite. And then they performed various other experiments and tests to find what are its properties. Then they confirmed it's a semiconductor. It was having EV, similar to germanium, but it is a mixture. It is not a single element. So they were shocked because all this happened in 78, 79, 77, 78, 79. I was there between 76 and 78, 76, 77, 78. So they reported the results to CSIR, and CSIR created a committee to investigate under the chairmanship of Professor B.L. Sharan of the same IIT Bombay chemistry department. This experiment was done in the chemical engineering department by one L. Boskute under the assistance and guidance of one Naren Sheth of Bombay City, who was able to act as the interpreter from Sanskrit to English for the chemistry department, chemical engineering department. So Professor Sharan has repeated the entire experiment as Chumbak Mani project. He was given fund. He has appointed research scholars and repeated the whole process and reconfirmed the same characteristics as semiconductor soft ferrite, which the TIFR and IIT Bombay declared as correct. This is all there in the press. I have seen the advertisement in newspapers on the Chumbak Mani project, recruitment of research scholars. So now, this created a sensation. Nobody knows how it is possible because semiconductors are developed in modern times in 1950s by Watson of IBM. Silicon semiconductor, before that germanium. I have studied all this in my electronics engineering course. And they were used in the amplifiers, oscillators, in the big size vacuum tubes we used to have that was replaced by semiconductors. Small transistor, you must have seen, transistor, diode, thermistor, high resistor, and so on. So this semiconductors have now become chips. Inside the chip, we have the circuit. Inside the circuit, we have the transistors, diodes, which perform the same function which big semiconductor, solid state semiconductor physics was performing. This integrated chip is micro miniaturized, same function. So it was a shock. Nobody was able to explain how. Of course, now people who said that they are fake, now they have to answer. What is the answer for this? So nobody knows the answer. So it remained an enigma, a riddle, a question mark. Now what has happened in my case? I left IIT Bombay. I joined TCS in Bombay. Then I left TCS and joined CMC in Hyderabad. And from CMC, I was sent to US for a project. And after I left that project, I went to MIT in Boston for a short period. I lived there. And I told those people about this Vimana Shastra. So those people in MIT, they were Asians of all kinds. All Asians were there and Europeans were there. The Asians all gathered together and told me, even if 1/100th of this book is real, true, 100% real, then it means that the science has not originated in the West. It has originated in the East. This is their stand. All the Asians, both students and faculty. So they asked me to bring this book, which I didn't have. It was in Hyderabad, it is lost somewhere. So I just told them. Then I happened to shift to California, University of California at Irvine. Irvine is in Orange County, Santa Ana. Irvine, IRVINE. So there also I told about this book, because there I lived for 1 year, near Los Angeles. I was giving many lectures on yoga classes, Bhagavad Gita classes, and so on. I'm talking of 83, complete 83. So there they also said, you bring that book, we will experiment and find out what is the truth. But I didn't have the book. So I wound up everything there. And once I realized that I don't want to settle down, because everybody who goes to America settles down, never comes back. But I came back because I didn't want to become American, nor I wanted my children to become American, because I was not yet married. I wanted my children to become pure Indians. So I wound up everything. I washed my hands off America. I had a lot of followers. Even today, some of them are in contact with me. Very rich Gujaratis and Punjabis and Andhrites who were learning yoga and Gita from me. I was planning to have an ashram there, but I washed off my hands, everything, because I don't want to stay there. So I came back to India in 83, 84 beginning. And I joined NIC in Delhi and shifted to NIC Hyderabad in 86 ending. During which time, Dr. B.G. Siddhartha of Birla Science Center met me. And he was conducting certain seminars on the Rig Veda and the astronomy in the Rig Veda. He claimed that they were able to know the phases of Mercury and Venus like phases of moon. That is diminishing and waning and waxing. So he was asking me, how did they know? Because unless the telescope is there, they cannot know that. The naked eye, you cannot see. So he asked me whether there is any reference of any lens in any of the Sanskrit texts. So I told them, see, I have this book, Vimana Shastra, and this book contains a lot of lenses, glasses, and how to manufacture them also. Then he said, you give it to me. I said, see, I cannot give it to you unless you take a commitment. You give me a commitment that you will do something about it. He said, all right, we will conduct a national seminar on ancient science and technology. And it was conducted on December 4th, 1990 at Birla Planetarium, Birla Science Center, Bhaskar Auditorium. and many topics like mathematics, chemistry, astronomy, of the ancient texts were being interpreted by many scholars from all over India came. I was the coordinator for all that, and Dr. Siddharth is the organizer. Birlas have spent money. So in that conference, we invited our Bombay IIT people to come and demonstrate the properties and behavior of this chumbak mani. So this chumbak mani, when kept under one liquid called Paragranthika Drava, which is also mentioned here in the book, they found that when exposed to sunlight, it was generating current, electric current. So this is photovoltaic effect. So that they demonstrated in that conference, 1990, December 4th. So this, in December in Hyderabad, there is very little sunlight, but still it was, whenever sun comes, it was able to generate some current. This was observed by the press. That it was reported in Hindu. Did ancient Indians know semiconductors? ? So as a result of which we got phone calls, because those days emails were not there, internet was not there. We got phone calls from Russia and America also. What is this? We want to know more details. So nobody knows what is the fact, what is the background. But one person who came to the conference is one Yanamandra, some old person, about 70s. He was a Central Excise official who retired long back. He told us that he has seen the original manuscript of this book and other similar books he has seen 36 years ago in Bangalore. That means he saw it in 1960s or 50s, and he can locate them in Bangalore. So we went to Bangalore with him, along with Salarjung Museum person, who is a museum expert and manuscript expert. So we went and located, with his help, one house in Seshadripuram in Bangalore. One Srinivas Murthy, VV Srinivas Murthy, son of one Venkatram Shastri, who had a big box of various manuscripts. So we have taken a Xerox machine with us from Hyderabad. We kept it there and we started Xeroxing all those manuscripts. Around 20 different books we Xeroxed, including this original manuscript of this. Because this book is published in 1959, based on the copies received from Baroda Maharajas University. And similar copies were there in other places. That particular Seshadripuram box contained those copies. There are given dates as 1911, 1919, 1920, like that. This entire book is there, and many other books are also there in handwritten manuscripts by one scribe by name G. Venkatachal Sharma, who wrote in hand by the dictation of one Subbaraya Shastri, Togarai Subbaraya Shastri, the Telugu speaking Bharadwaja Gotram person in Anekal, which is in the outskirts of Bangalore. Today there is a statue there for him. So we Xeroxed all that, and I found one receipt there saying that 92 manuscripts were taken by one G.R. Josher of Mysore from Bangalore to Mysore. So we rushed to Mysore and located that son of that house. And G.R. Josher passed away, and his son G.N. Josher was there. And he told they were having previously, but they don't have anything now. Somebody has taken, given to different people. And they have published, based on the manuscripts they have, another book, Vimana Shastra, in English translation. It is available today. These are all available in the market, some of them, if not all of them. So this is the English translation book. And this G.M. Joseph, the son of G.R. Joseph, he declared that no other manuscripts are available with him. Though some of my friends told that he has, but he's not giving. Then I told him I am from government. I can bring a search warrant also. Then he said, no, you can search if you want. I don't have any other manuscripts. Some manuscripts were taken by so and so, so and so. He gave some names. So we try to catch those people. So one person was in Shimoga. He came to Bangalore to meet me and gave whatever he has, which was an Amshubodhini. And then another person was in Jayanagar. He was in the films business. He said when Jitavindu Maharshi is there in Jayanagar, he has taken some manuscripts. So I went try to meet him and he said, no, I have given to somebody else. So this way we found that we cannot trace those manuscripts which are lost, practically lost in the mass, in the society. So we came back to Bangalore and we were satisfied with whatever we xeroxed and we came back to Hyderabad. And then we conducted a press conference. The Birla Science Center conducted a press conference. We formed a committee with Dr. Siddharth, myself, and one Professor M. Ganorkar, who was the head of the Birla Institute of Scientific Research Laboratory, who was previously the head of the Department of Chemistry of Osmania University. So Birla BISR lab was there in Dilsukh Nagar. He was working there after retirement. And Dr. B.J. Siddharth is the director of Birla Planetarium and Birla Science Center. So we formed a committee with these three people in Hyderabad. I am supposed to be interpreting Sanskrit text. And in that lab, under the guidance of Ganorkar, we produce that, whatever we can. And Siddharth will get the funding from the Birlas. So this was the announcement made to the press. And we also told this Chumbak Mani, which was produced in Bombay IT, will be brought and we'll try to produce something similar or more. So this Naren Sheth and others from Bombay, they told they will come only if all the patent rights will be handed over to them, if whatever we produce. And the Birlas were not agreeable to that condition because they wanted for themselves, because they are funding the entire thing. So finally, we had to give up the Bombay team because they refused to participate unless they get the patents. So after giving the press conference, we landed up in a quandary situation where these Bombay people don't want to come. And we have already given a press statement that we will produce something by deciphering all these manuscripts which he copied from Bangalore. So it became a very embarrassing situation. If we don't do anything, after having promised, there will be a lot of backlash and bad name. So I wanted to avoid that. So the only solution available was that I myself perform the decipherment as against the Bombay, Naren Sheth and others. So I entered the shoes of Naren Sheth and I started studying this book from page 1 to the last page. What is that we can decipher? Because it's most of it is undecipherable. The terminology used is totally out of the head. The Sanskrit words, all Sanskrit only, but it's very old Sanskrit. And most of the words given for the ingredients are not understandable. They are not there in any dictionary. I got all the dictionaries of Sanskrit. And if I can figure out something which I can make, so I struggled for a few months, maybe 4 to 6 months. Every day morning, 3 o'clock, I get up and start struggling through this text. And then I decided that I will take first the simplest of the targets. There is one Tamogar Bhaloha, which is made with only 3 ingredients. Krishna Sisam Chanjanikam Vajratundam Samamshataha Sampurya Suktimushayam Shatakakshosna Vegataha. Three ingredients: Krishna Sisam, Anjanikam, Vajratundam. Take equal weight, proportion in weight. Put in a crucible which resembles Sukti, that is mother of pearl, like shell, and then heat up to 100 kakshas of temperature. What is kaksha? Nobody knows. So upon heating 100 kakshas, you will get it will melt. You will get a black liquid. And it says shanai shanai nishinche. Pour it slowly, slowly, slowly. Then you will get one solid when it cools. So that solid is called chumbak mani, black solid. So then he says you use it in so and so tamo yantra. This is, I'm sorry, not chumbak mani. This is tamo garbhaloha. Chumbak mani is in another place. I told you, IIT people did. We don't want to do it again because we cannot claim that ownership. They have already claimed patent and all. So this tamo garbhaloha, we tried in the lab of the Birla Institute of Scientific Research. And finally, we got that material, black material, which is now in front of you. I'll show you. This is the bigger size, which I reproduced recently in Jain University in Bangalore. And the one which we produced at that time was a small piece of, we made it 1 centimeter square to be able to test in the lab for its properties. This is 1 centimeter square of tamo garbhaloha. Of course, now later we produced a cylinder shape and we produced a trapezium shape and so on. And so this tamo garbhaloha, 1 centimeter square, was tested in the physics lab of Usman University by putting laser on it, red laser, and see how much it reflects or absorbs. So we found it has absorbed 79%, close to 80%. It absorbed laser, tamo garbha. That means it has tamas, darkness in its womb. So it is confirming what the text says. In tamo yantra, it is used to absorb light. So we applied for patent and we got patent on Birla Science Center name. Then next I tried one so-called panchaloham. It is not, though it is called panchaloham, only 3 ingredients are there: copper, zinc and lead. Whereas normal panchaloham on the temples and all, it has gold and silver also. But this has only 3 ingredients. So he has given the formula of how much copper, how much zinc, how much. So we produced that this material, and it is meant Hemavarnam Mrudulam. We took it to JNTU lab for metallurgy, and then machining, they found it's very soft, not for the hand, but for the machine. And similar, recently I produced some more pieces, and the biggest piece is here. This is the golden color, Hemavarnam Mrudulam. And so this is second patent we have applied and got. And the third one is on Araratamram, hard material, Hemavarnam Drudam, copper, zinc, lead. And for that, we produced the material and it was used in one Vakra Prasarana Yantra of the Vimana Shastra, which was meant for sharp turns and reverse turn and so on. So that yantra had 16 wheels. Krakachangula Chakrebhyo Shodashebhyo made by Araratamra, and a casing. So we produced a scaled down model of 4 inches diameter, which is actually in the Vimana Shastra they have 24 inches. So when I am rotating these 2 outputs here, one of them rotates in one direction, other rotates in the opposite direction for the reverse gear purpose. So no such machine exists in the whole world. They have gearboxes with 4 gears, 8 gears, but this is 16 gear wheels. So you can take outputs from different points, 2.3 times the mechanical advantage of multiplying the input. So this is the story of the new materials produced. And then we shifted to glasses. We produced one Chaparagrahaka along with glass, and then we produced one Ushnasek Chapakarshana Darpanam, Suryasek Chapakarshana Darpanam, given in some parts of Vimana Shastra which are not published, but they are there in the manuscripts. But not even in manuscript, but also in the article written in one journal called Bhautika Kalanidhi, edited by B. Surnarayan Rao, the grandfather of B.V. Raman of the Raman Astrological Institute in Bangalore. So I produced around half a dozen different new materials. All of them were patented. So I produced more than what was produced previously. Of course, it's a different yantra. That was Guhagar Bahadarsh yantra. This is Tamo yantra. All given here. The formula, the preparation mechanism, everything is given here. And none of these materials exist in modern science and technology. In their properties, for example, this Arara Tamram used for this Vaklaprasana yantra, this material was having very high hardness. This Young's modulus is 16.9, whereas steel Young's modulus is 15. So it's harder than steel. And on the contrary, the other one, which is soft, was having corrosion resistance properties. All copper alloys are given C grade for corrosion, sodium chloride saturated solution of 4%. Weight loss of weight will be at 0.2 milligrams per decimeter square per day, whereas this one was 1,000 times less. It is corrosion resistant copper alloy. No such thing exists. And incidentally, at the same time, from Dwarka, they have excavated under sea certain objects, a sextant and all made of copper alloys, which have not been corroded in spite of living under the seawater for thousands of years. They gave me one piece, and we have analyzed that piece also. And it turned out to be different from this particular alloy which we produced from Pushpini Yantra. Okay, now I have deciphered another 6 to 10 new materials, but I could not reproduce because the ingredients were not available or not deciphered. There is one Vidyut Darpanam, which can neutralize lightning. Vidyut Vayodbhuta Krishanu Vego Pashantakam Mahajyutyutam Bhasura Bhasuram. So another Ghantaravaloham, Badhiraloham, highly sensitive metals for sound or soundproof metals, materials like this, there are many. So, but I could not reproduce due to either furnace not being available, because there is one Rajaloham which is used for the body of the Vimana, which will withstand high heat upon re-entry into the atmosphere. Ushmapaha. It will, that means it drink the heat. So we tried to reproduce it, but we were stuck because the furnace is required 2500 degrees temperature. We don't have anywhere in India nearby. Went to Bangalore also. DHL CTI had one furnace up to 1600. We produced one glass there. In DMR in Hyderabad, we produced up to 1400 they have. So I was stuck. So I stopped that activity and I diverted towards biological products, which don't require furnaces. So in this Vimana Shastra itself, they are given some special foods for long journeys. So I brought from grasses. Api Trunadinam Chavan Sutra is there. There are some 3 types of grasses, Garbha, Kusha, and we produced one powder, which was highly nutrient, had more protein than the normal atta, and we can use it for rotis or laddus or whatever. Then I shifted to Tantra Shastra also, because this book is ascribed to Bharadwaja. And who is the opponent of Bharadwaja? Rama is not himself a technologist. The technology which Rama used against Ravana was given by Bharadwaja. On the other side is Ravana. So Ravana wrote some books. Ravana wrote one Uddisha Tantram, out of which I produced one Agnistambhanam. It is a herbal solution. If you spray it on any object, that object will not burn in fire. Right now I don't have it here. I have it in another house. I can demonstrate. If you spray it on it and put in flames, it will not catch fire. And I got a patent also for it. This time the patent is on my own. not with the Birlas, because by that time I shifted my activities away from Birlas because of the reasons which I mentioned, and also Professor M.C. Ganorkar passed away, and the committee could not function. That lab was closed down, so I had to shift to biological products. I made Agnistambanam, then Anaharam also from Tantra Shastra. It is a herbal powder laddu. If you eat that, you don't require meals, but it will feel strong enough. So we have done all this. I have produced about 10 different inventions, and I was invited to IIM Ahmedabad for the Inventors of India meet also. And I became very popular in the RSS circles. From Sudarshan Ji, Sarsang Chalak, right from the time when he was the joint secretary, he was very keen. He was my great fan and promoter, and I met Singhal also, I met Advani also. They were all very thrilled. Even today, in the circles of RSS, I am well known as a Vimana Shastra expert who produced so many new materials. So I stop here my debate and now my lecture, and you can now ask questions.
ధన్యవాదములండి. May post the questions in the chat box. Prabhu, can you take on those?
None have posted any questions. I think they're yet to post. Yeah, first question has come. Let Prabhu Garu come back. Can take it up.
What is the question?
How much Celsius was 100 Kaksha?
It came to 1250 degrees. So it may not be a linear scale of temperature.
Yeah. Okay. Can you give links, patents approved?
Yeah, they are all with the Birlas. Now they might have expired also, because we are talking of 90s, early 90s, all this was done. I have written a report on this. That report we can share with you.
I think most of them are thrilled to listen and have no real questions. I think there's one question. Yeah, just a minute. Central government through IISC likes taken up the projects under your guidance. Is central government project than individual institutes? I can't understand
No.
this.
Till today, government has not granted any project on this. Though the government is favorable. No, HL, yeah. What is the next question? Yeah.
Okay.
No, I have given lectures at ISRO in Bangalore long back, and I have demonstrated how interplanetary travel phenomena are described in the Vimana Shastra, like meteorite impacts, which they agreed that they are all valid. Yeah, please go to the next question.
Yeah, are these findings used in HAL by any chance?
Not yet, not yet. If somebody is interested, we will be happy to provide.
After hearing all this, I am awesome. It is really a thrilling experience. Okay, that's not a question. Yeah, there are no questions really.
Okay, whatever comments?
The comments are that they're all thrilled. It's a really thrilling and exciting for your practical experience, listening to your practical experience and the greatness of Vimana Shastra as it has been put. Very interesting and useful. Thank you, Dr. Prabhu Garu. And the other, we are indeed privileged to actually even be able to see and listen to you. That is Saugandhi. So these are the different comments they're really happy to listen to this lecture. That's all. I think there are no questions as
No,
such.
some more questions I can see, but they're going very fast.
Yeah, the questions, whatever are there, I have already said.
No,
Just-
some new ones
Just a
are
minute.
coming.
Yeah. I'm just seeing that. Are the Wright brothers influenced by Vimana Shastra?
No idea. I don't think there, but there are other leads. The Germans have taken and copied some of these things into V2 rockets.
Okay.
And V2 rockets were World War II. Then the same people who developed V2 rockets in Germany, the Jews, they were taken by America to NASA. So definitely some of this knowledge went to Germans and NASA also.
Prabhu Garu, I think you didn't mention about the Subbaraya Shastra Garu and the aircraft. Yeah, you mentioned that, but then
Yeah,
the
I forgot to mention.
Chowpatty
Subbaraya
Beach.
Shastri, I'll tell. So there is one Dr. Talpude of Pune who took the guidance under same Subbaraya Shastri, Togarai Subbaraya Shastri, to reproduce one Vimana. Marut Sakha it is called. It's not there in this text, but he says he got it from Veda. And that Marut Sakha is actually flown on the Chowpatty beach.
Yeah.
And that was recorded in Times of India at that time, before Wright brothers. A little before Wright brothers, and Maharaja of Baroda has actually witnessed it. Sayajirao Gaikwad.
Yeah, that was a very important thing.
Yeah, it was the news was reported in Times of India. I saw that newspaper.
Right. So one of the questions is not much covered on experiments findings on biological side. Are you going to cover in next sessions?
No, because the Viman Shastra is it is aeronautical, space science, rocketry, material science, metallurgy. A few biological things are also there. But the ingredients used in many of these materials are all biological or mineral. So to decipher those words is very difficult task. Like sometimes very rare things are used and they are not available and so on. So that is why nobody could produce these things except one or two people. Nobody could produce. In addition to IIT Bombay, I produced. And in addition to both of us, one Guntur party produced some other alloys, and somebody else somewhere else also produced. So some half a dozen different parties have produced different materials from the same text. And some parties have reproduced the same materials independently. So that proves that the text is not a fake.
Yeah. Even after all these discoveries, why aren't we our premier institutes working on it, and why is government not working or publicizing this?
No, this is well known, but there were some critics also, the communists particularly, and anti-Hindu groups. They want to attack, and they produce all fake papers and reports attacking this. Now, in IIC Bangalore itself, when this manuscript was originally found and released 1960s or 70s, there were some people who were very much fancied about it, and there were some people who were against it. So they wrote papers saying this whole thing is a hoax without doing any investigation. You should try something, no, first. So I took a long time to come to this stage. It took about 25 years or more. And these people don't want to put any effort, but they will write a paper saying this whole thing is bogus. And when I showed the materials to the same author, he said, no, I never said the materials are bogus. So whatever we have not produced, it will be called bogus, and whatever we have produced, it will be called not bogus. This is a kind of escapism. And also some people make loose comments on without making any experiments, positive comments also. And as a result, the opposite party will make big attacks. So these kind of things have been happening. And it is one of the reasons. Of course, the entire Vimana Shastra cannot be understood. Only a few things here and there we are able to decipher and understand and reproduce. Many things are not understandable and they cannot be reproduced. Only few things we are able to reproduce because we are able to understand. It is what's called decryption, deciphering, decipherment, harmonic interpretation.
The other question is, was it that in earlier times the Devas used to have escape velocity to cross Earth's gravitation?
Yeah, definitely. Escape velocity is not so high. You know that, right? So if you have a thrust which is good enough, you can easily cross escape velocity. So for that thrust, today we are using engines, but they used their own technology at that time. They have not our present engines, but something else. And they were able to go. That's why, otherwise it's not possible. So they have done it. There are enough references, enough descriptions.
There is one question.
Yeah, many questions are appearing and disappearing. I'm not able to.
You mentioned about astronomy. Have you heard of Mr. Nilesh Oak, who is using astronomy observations in our Itihasas to fix some time of Ramayana, Mahabharata, and
Yeah, I've seen some of his videos. He may be right. I'm not very sure because his dates are larger than the previously accepted dates. Like Mahabharata previous is 3200 BC. He's giving 6000 BC. Similarly, Ramayana also. He may be right. I'm not into that subject. I have no objections. I mean, I cannot make any statement on the validity of his claims, but I appreciate his spirit.
Yeah.
I'm not an expert in astronomy to make. Astronomy is mentioned in the Vimana Shastra to a limited extent, but it is not an astronomy text. There are many other texts which are astronomy texts.
Yeah.
Rama Subramaniam in IIT Bombay and many other Jyotishas they are working.
The other question is, I heard Russia was the first country to take away some of our old scriptures and doing experiments secretly. After that,
True.
Germans. Is it true?
Yes, yes. Russians, they love India, they love Sanskrit. And
Yeah. They say Pushpak Vimana. What does it refer to? Same as just Vimana?
no, say again.
I mean, in the Ramayana and all, they say Pushpaka Vimana. What does
No,
it
they have
refer
described
to?
in Sundarakanda,
Yeah.
the entire Pushpak Vimana structure functions are described, not technical description to how to make it. Valmiki is not giving. Valmiki wrote a kavyam, not a shastra. He just described how it is, how it functions. But how to make it, he has not given. Whereas in this Vimana Shastra, there is a list of Vimanas where Pushpaka is also there. So they have given a list separate for Treta Yuga, list separate for Dwapara Yuga, list separate like this. So in Treta Yuga list, Pushpaka is also there. But beyond that, nothing is known.
There is another question similar to that. Is there a mention of Pushpaka Vimana? Please elaborate on this.
Yeah, Pushpaka Vimana is mentioned in the list of Treta Yuga Vimanas given in the Vimana Shastra. They are called Mantrika Vimanas, then we have Tantrika Vimanas, then we have Krutaka Vimanas in Kali Yuga. Krutaka means purely physical. So this is a Mantrika Vimana where mantra power is also deployed. We don't know how, it's not possible today. We are not able to reproduce even the physical Vimanas. We have produced only a few materials and one yantra. I am only My yantra, Vaktaprasad, is only yantra reproduced out of 31 yantras.
So a long time back, was seeing YouTube videos. Someone in US, they were trying to reproduce the model aircraft. Is it true?
What is that? Say again.
Yeah, long time back, I saw I was seeing YouTube video. Someone in US, they were trying to reproduce the model aircraft. Is it true?
Model.
Yeah,
What is model?
I can't understand this. I mean, maybe they are trying to talk about Vimana Shastra only. There are so many YouTubes nowadays which are talking about Vimana Shastra. Maybe it is one of them.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Okay, I think I'll come to other questions down below.
So temperature, somebody is asking. Many
Yeah.
questions.
Yeah, because of life pulling on, also certain things will not see light. Okay, it's only mentioned. There's no question.
Politics. Yeah.
Yeah,
Politics.
yeah. In addition to the component used, do you think that explanation was also given to build spacecrafts from these components?
No, the Vimana, the word Vimana can be a spacecraft or aircraft or both. There is a Tripura Vimana which can travel in 3 media: underwater, on earth, like a land vehicle, and into the space. So different types of Vimanas are there which travel in different domains and different ways. So at some point in ancient past, they existed and people have used it. Not only humans, but extraterrestrials. Because we have the outer space beings, even the Deva, Danava, Yaksha, Kinnara, Kimpurusha, Siddha, Charana, Vidyadhara, Gandharva, all these people, they are not humans. They also have their own Vimanas. So humans have also used and they have also used.
There's a general question. Why is India lacking in fighter jets and civil aeroplanes design production compared to US and other countries?
In any technology, India will be lacking, except in information technology, in some domains, that too. India will always be lagging behind us and China and Japan and France, and so that is very common in Germany also. So only in some sectors we are on par with the world, and one of the reasons why we have not developed as much as we could have is that we lost our heritage from Sanskrit sources, thanks to the British intervention of the education system, switching over to English, Macaulay education.
What about the Vimana type structure found in Afghanistan?
Yeah, quite possible. I'm not very sure. Some of them, see, now there is a issue of the UFOs also, outer space vehicles coming into Earth. That is again a very big controversial topic, whether UFOs exist or not. If they exist, whether they are spacecrafts of the outer space visitors. And some people say those spacecrafts are Vimanas. And this Vimana Shastra is explaining such spacecrafts like this. These are all unknown questions, and answers are unknown for these questions. I suggest you study, investigate whether UFOs are spacecrafts or not, whether they are Vimanas or not known.
Has anyone ever created a Vimana using the instructions given in the Vimana Shastra?
Not full Vimana. I created this machine. Nobody created a machine also. A few others have created some more other materials, like in Bombay IT and later some other place. Only that much they could do. But some people have done the testing of the design, the physical design, not the machines. Aerodynamic testing of the design. I found it is valid. And in fact, the Apollo 11 design is same as the Rukma Vimana design.
What should be the temperature resistance of aircraft material to enter space?
Yeah, very high temperatures, so thousands and thousands of degrees can be raised, and the material which is given here, Rajaloham, if it can be reproduced, will withstand it. And Kalpana Chawla type of mishaps won't have. Because of friction with the atmospheric particles, there will be too much heat generated and spacecraft will burn. So that's why they use all other techniques, and these people have used their own materials. Of course, modern times they have other materials.
So can you please elaborate about the powder which do not allow the fire burns?
Not powder, it is spray. It is a liquid spray. It is a medicinal plant's liquid spray. If you spray it on any object, that object will not burn in fire for some time, not forever, until it evaporates. So it can be used as fire extinguisher, come fire proofing material, Agni Stambhanam, and anti-fire. I have taken patent on it.
Okay. How satellite remains positioned stationary to emit signals to Earth? That's one question. The other question is, with what kind of material is used to build Bomti resistant bunkers?
What resistance?
Bomti resistance. I don't know. Bomti.
Bomb resistant bunkers.
Bomb resistant bunkers. What is the temperature up to which it can withstand?
I think Colonel Babu will answer that question. He's from defense.
There are descriptions. There are descriptions of Lanka in Ramayana. Could that be true? The Vimana that returned to Ayodhya described is so huge, accommodating so many. Yuddha.
No, there may be exaggerations, poetic exaggerations, but in Lanka there is a place today which is supposed to be the airfield of Ravana. So definitely Vimanas existed, and Pushpa Vimana existed. Not knowing about its capacity or poetic exaggerations, but it existed, and it flew over the Indian subcontinent up to Ayodhya, and the descriptions given on the ground as visible from the Vimana were found to be true.
I think we have finished all the questions. I'm just scanning and see not to have lost or missed anyone.
Did Vimana have nuclear weapons?
Okay, I mean, if you have seen that.
No, not these Vimanas. I think we'll wind up now. We'll close now. Please close.
Right. Okay. I think the questions are over. Yeah.
So now the question answer session is over. So now we will we have some time now. What is the time?
Yes, 7:50. 10 minutes are there.
10 minutes are there.
We go to Prarthana, then we can have an open discussion.
After Prarthana?
Yeah.
Okay, that way we will do that. So let us request Satyaji.
Yes. Swasti prajabhya paripalayantam nyayena margena mahimahishah gobrahmanebhyah subhamastu nityam loka samasta sukhino bhavantu kale varshati parjanyah prithvi sasyashalini deshoyam kshobarahito brahmanas santu nirbhayah aputra putrinas santu pautrinah adhana sadhana santu jivantu sharadam shatam satyam vada dharmam chara swadhyayan ma pramadah sarve bhavantu sukhinah sarve santu niramayah sarve bhadrani paschyantu ma kaschid dukkhabhag bhavet Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sarve Jana Sukhino Bhavantu. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Swasti.
ధన్యవాదములండి సత్య గారు. Now let us recite national anthem. Chala Chittibabu garu.
Yeah. Janagana mana adhinayaka jaya he Bharat bhagya vidhata. Punjab Sindhu Gujarat Maratha Dravida Utkala Vanga Vindhya Himachala Yamuna Ganga Uchchala Jaladhitaranga. Tava Shubha Name Jage Tava Shubha Ashish Mange Gahe Tava Jaya Gatha. जनगण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता. जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे. जय हिंद.
Go ahead.
जय हिंद. जय हिंद.
Okay, first we'll stop the recording, then we will go for open session for a few minutes.